What's up, everyone? Welcome to this fifth and final edition of the Morocco trip. So we're here at the end of the trip. Maybe some of you are glad, maybe some of you are sad, but the time in Morocco is coming to an end. So as I mentioned last week, we're ending the trip in Marrakech. We ended last week with making it to the Riyadh in Marrakech, and now we're going to enjoy a couple days there together. So let's jump into it. As you can see on the map, we're focusing in on Marrakech there, which is towards the bottom left-hand side of the screen. Sort of on the western edge of the Atlas Mountains there. It's like the cultural center of Morocco. It's a beautiful place, a very ancient city, um, and yeah, just a really cool place. So let's jump into it. So we started off our big day of adventuring around Marrakech with going to the Bahia Palace, which is the royal palace there in Marrakech. And as you can see, the architecture there, the mosaics, it's just exquisite. I mean, I can't imagine the amount of time and effort that went into making this beautiful palace. So we spent the first couple hours of the day there, learning about the history of the royals in Morocco, learning about the history of the palace, and a little bit about Marrakesh as well. Um, and obviously checking out all of the stunning architecture and mosaics and all of that. So enjoy these pictures here. All right, our second stop of the day was at one of the pharmacies there, or the spice shops. And as you can see, there's a ton of different spices. It was actually super fascinating. The lady who worked there, she talked about each one of the spices, gave us a little background, what it is, what it's used for, that sort of thing. It was really interesting. Um, and I did end up buying a few things there, but yeah, that was well worth it. I think some of the stuff was kind of expensive, not gonna lie, but um, yeah, it was well worth it for sure. After the spice shop, we headed into the main square of Marrakech, where we walked through. We saw the snake charmers and people selling all sorts of stuff and performers and all of that. There's a lot going on. And we walked to the Kutubia Mosque, which is one of the most famous mosques there in Morocco. It's beautiful. I think it's one of the biggest ones there in Morocco. But um, yeah, walking through the square there, I mean, there's people going in every direction. Also, the random tennis court that you saw there. um, but it was just that was the first time on that whole trip where I was like, this feels like Africa. This feels like what I was expecting coming to the country. Um, Morocco was a really surprising country, so it was kind of interesting that that was the first time that I really felt like this is a totally different world kind of thing. Um, yeah, anyways, we walked to the mosque there and spent a little bit of time learning about the history there before we moved on to our next stop.
Their stalls with them, and they set their stalls and they usually sell food. So the food that they sell is different from one stall to the other. So they might be selling soup, fish, skewers, and so on. And also, at night we usually
So from there, we headed into the souks, into the maze of shops that go in every every direction and are very confusing to navigate with people going all over the place. Yeah, and then we stopped for lunch at this place, Amor Nakosh. Hope that's how you pronounce it. That was a really great lunch because I was feeling sick at this point, and that really helped with my stomach actually. So that evening slash afternoon, we did a cooking class just outside of the city. You can see here this lady is getting the bread ready for us. and she was also cooking the peppers and everything. It was actually really fascinating to watch. And just like every other place that we went to, we were welcomed in with mint tea. And so that's what this guy's pouring here, which you'll see a little video of here.
The meat leaves, he will get bitter. That's why we pour and we put back. We pour and we put back. Yeah, that's right.
Oh wow.
It smells so good.
So after we had tea, we went into the building and we had our cooking class. We learned how to make chicken tagine, which is a very traditional dish there in Morocco. And we also made some Moroccan salads, which were very cooked vegetables. uh, and it actually was really good. I really enjoyed the food. I think it was the best chicken tagine we had on the whole trip because we had it a number of times. The tagine is, if you're wondering, is what that clay pot is that we're cooking in. So that's where it gets its name from. But it was actually a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It's one of the nicest cooking classes I've been a part of, the nicest one probably. And I thought overall I did a decent job. It was definitely not the best one in the group, but it was fun. The only issue is that we had all, just eaten not too long before at lunch, so we were kind of feeling full from that. And I think a lot of us, I know I was feeling a little sick. We had all been dealing with a stomach bug for a few days at this point, and yeah, I was really hurting at this point. So I did not get to enjoy much of that meal, which is unfortunate because it was the best one in my opinion. And yeah, I'm really sad about that. But it is what it is. It was a lot of fun, and I learned something new, so can't complain. So after the cooking class, I think we all went back and just kind of rested. It'd been a long week, but the next morning, we went outside of the city and we did a hot air balloon ride, which you can see is getting blown up here. And there'll be a little video here, which I hope I was able to reduce the sound on because it is loud. But this was an incredible experience. So we had a light snack there where the balloons were getting blown up, and we watched them blow it up, which did take a little while actually. And then we all got in, which is kind of a process. You got to balance the weight out because you're just in a basket, a wicker basket kind of thing. So weight becomes a factor there, and so we had to balance it out there. And then we all had to crouch down, and it took off. The pilot, blew the fire into the balloon there, and we went up. We actually got as high as the pilot said 1,500 meters, which is pretty decently high. That's close to 5,000 feet at that point, um, which was kind of wild. So, and it's just kind of crazy because you're just in a basket. There's no seat belts of any kind. You're just standing there, hoping that the basket doesn't give way on you. But it was a ton of fun. It was such a cool experience. That's the first time I've ever done that. and it was awesome. It was awesome. Such a wild experience, and the view was beautiful. It was a perfect morning. The sunrise was great, and yeah, it was just so much fun. Definitely worth the money. It was a little spendy, but totally worth it. Totally worth it. So we did land safely after like an hour and a half or so, and after we had seen the sunrise. It was a little bit of an adventure trying to land. The pilot said that she really can't steer it. It's kind of the wind takes you where it wants to go, and she just controls basically the height of the balloon, which was encouraging as we were crossing over power lines. But we made it on the ground safely. We went back to where we took off from, had breakfast. They served us breakfast there, which was an awesome breakfast. And yeah, we made it. And then after that, we went back into the city. And some of us went to the Yves Saint Laurent. I probably butchered that name, famous designer. And we went to the Jardin des Margerelles, which is the garden uh, next next door to the museum there. So that's where these pictures are all from coming up here. And that night was our final night, so we went to a fancy restaurant, the Jade Mahal, which is very fancy. I mean, they had uh, fire breathers and dancers and people in masks, and it was very exclusive. There was a set menu. We all got served at the same time in the restaurant. It was very nice. It was very fancy. It was a great last dinner, and uh, I enjoyed my time there. So enjoy enjoy these next videos, and thank you all for watching these various parts of Morocco, of enjoying this trip with me, of helping me relive it as well. I think this is a good note to end on. So thanks again, and we'll see you next week for something different.